the smooth sound of the robot, you're back again in the Quoraverse. Haha, just kidding. It's the Quorators podcast, America's favorite Quora-based podcast with Alex and Jeremy. Hello.
How's it going, Alex?
Oh, I'm quite well, and you?
All right.
Good. Introductions finished. Now we have a wonderful guest for you today to bring into the wide world of the web. That's right, comedian and laughmeister from the Downside podcast, Gianmarco Soresi. Gianmarco?
Hi, I Laughmeister. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna change it to that instead of comedian.
You can use whatever you want to.
I like how German it is, Laughmeister.
The original title.
It's better than when people say like funny man in like a newspaper
Oh,
article.
funny man's brutal.
It is tough though because it is almost identical in terms of like word roots.
I think the worst though is satirist.
Oh,
Sure.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Some people like that though.
No, I think below
Like,
that
if you're
even
like a,
is humorist.
A humorist.
Humorist
yes.
is insulting. It's like fuck
Yeah,
you.
that's like Andy Borowitz. Is that who
Sure,
that is?
yeah,
That's a humorist.
Yeah. And
It's like
he-
someone who at the most wants you to go,
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
it.
It's not funny. It's humor.
yeah.
It's humorous.
Like if our podcast was instead a drawing of like a sack of money and then a burglar, and then we had an arrow pointed at the burglar
Sure.
and it said FDR or something, then you would be a humorist.
It actually does say a lot, though. Andy Borowitz created Fresh Prince, and I feel like it's so sick.
you serious?
I swear to God, he's the creator.
Based on his life.
He's the creator of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And everyone just knows him as like the guy who writes an article that's like, Trump was very orange today. And it's like,
Yeah, I wonder, because he basically, I mean, all I know is he had a column in the New Yorker,
yes, yeah.
and then it got lost. I never heard from him again.
No, yeah, he created the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Do you think he's trying to recreate the
I don't
next
know.
Fresh Prince of
I mean, they made a new one, right? Didn't they like do
He's
a
in the
serious
lab
one?
cooking up teens.
Didn't they make like a serious version called Bel-Air?
They did. Someone made like a sketch
Yeah.
essentially, and then they saw that sketch and they said money, and they made that. So Andy, he must be rich.
Yeah, he's doing really great.
What if instead of smell you later, our wayward teen said things like, it's so hard adapting to a new neighborhood? Now, Gianmarco, you said you are not as familiar with Quora as other websites.
No, you know, when you look at the internet, and there's like certain segments I never was. Tumblr was never on my radar. I was like an Ask Jeeves. I very much remember asking Jeeves if God existed. Recently.
Young master Gianmarco.
If you were a little older, I feel like you would be a lot of GIFs on Tumblr. Because I feel like it's a lot of like John Mulaney.
Oh, yeah.
Like people who like are in love with John Mulaney are on Tumblr. Like
Sure.
10 years ago.
That's where they go. That's where
Yeah.
his ex-wife is.
It still exists though, right?
Yeah, I think so. But they deleted all. They made it so you can't post porn. So
Sure.
everybody left. And now it's like just the true Tumblr heads are on there. I think.
It is an incredible aspect of Twitter that porn is
Yeah.
allowed. And I don't follow.
Encouraged, I think.
Yeah, I don't follow that many porns. Like I know people who like that's
Yeah.
they go to Twitter
Yeah.
to jerk off. That's not
It's
my
in bio.
yeah.
Crazy pussy in bio.
But every once in a while, I'll be getting my hair cut or whatever, and I'm looking at Twitter. I'm like, oh shit, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. If you search like if you're like, oh, like Sonic the Hedgehog is trending, and you click it, and maybe you'll think like, oh, there'll be like a weird drawing of Sonic. No, you'll see like full on like dick and pussy
Humans.
porn.
Yeah.
Just fucking each other.
Au natural.
Because I remember when I was into Steve Jobs, I went through that phase where I was like, Steve Jobs is the man.
Everyone
And
does.
That was like a big decision with iTunes. The Apple Store was to not do porn,
Right.
and that changed the trajectory of so many things.
Yeah.
I have more questions about your Steve Jobs face.
Please.
Did you own turtlenecks at the time?
No,
Or change your wardrobe at all?
I wasn't that deep. I was deep enough to think it was Walter Isaacson's book, and like he kept using the phrase like reality distortion field. He used it like he's like Steve Jobs. What he did was this technique called the reality distortion field, and what it meant was he yelled at underlings to do something, and then they did it,
Sure.
and he took credit for
He
it.
would distort their reality with his field.
Yeah, and Walter Isaacson acted like it was like this genius thing, and not just.
I don't know if you've come across this. I have a few friends from like high school who did not become a clown professionally, and they make money now. And I've had like a few of them come up to me and been like, "I found out I get what I want when I'm bad to people."
Yeah.
Like it's something they've invented.
What do
They're
they do
like,
for a living?
I'm just not nice. I will not say and narrow down
Tighten
who I'm
the
talking
Castration.
about. But this has happened at least 2 times where they're like, yeah, I noticed when I'm mean to my underlings, they give me things faster.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
But it's called the reality distortion field, and it's an advanced technique.
Oh, I know.
Join
We have
the
sound
field.
effects on our show.
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to switch up the ones I do because I'm always slamming honey, and I'm always slamming the bullet. But like, when are we doing Austin Powers? Oh no.
Where's that one?
I know where it is.
Hit it.
By the way, update on the soundboard, still not labeled, and it never will be labeled, and I won't change. I won't change the way I live.
How about new?
To labeling the soundboard. How about that? How about you go and print labels for my soundboard? Anyway, so we're gonna get this show on the road now. Gianmarco, we like to start with a more of a grounded base to the beginning of the podcast, where we have a cynical ploy to attract new listeners with an advice segment.
Sure.
And we'll be fielding advice from you today in today's top segment, and that is, of course, tips for non-binary people, tips for them. Tips for them. That's great. Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Are you about to ask me advice for non-binary
Yeah,
people?
for non-binary people. If you need a minute, I can.
We kind
come
of think
up with
it's funny
something.
to not tell our guests that they just have to give advice to non-binary people at the beginning
Well, it's
and just see what they say.
It's kind of a delicate balance of organically forgetting we do it every week,
Yeah.
and then being like, "Oh yeah, I'm not skipping that. That's gold."
Let's see. What's a good piece of advice for a non-binary person?
Okay. Now, a lot of my advice recently have involved lightning, and I
Okay.
want to stray away from that as a topic. But I will say to remember that if you are in a house that is on fire, to stay low to the ground because smoke rises.
Cool. I'm going to say check out Hades 2.
Oh, that's good.
I've been playing it. It's
You
pretty
love
good.
that when you've thrown gender to the
I
wind.
think non-binary people will like Hades too.
This feels like a trick where my advice should just be to any person, but could also be to a non-binary person because there's nothing
Yeah.
specific.
I think non-binary people are regular people, Gianmarco, but that's just me personally. That's a bias I have.
Have you had any guests that really go edgelord suddenly? They're like, my advice: make up your mind.
Yeah,
we did. What tip for women? We did one where someone said, I think it was Ismail did like
Ismail likes to push it.
yeah, something about like I don't know, lick my dick or something.
Yeah,
Some
no.
penis based.
I don't think
advice
that
for
was
women.
it. I don't think that was it.
No, was it not?
It was something kind of
Clean
offensive,
your
but
pussies. Was it?
It was clean your pussies.
Okay.
That's health advice.
Wow.
It's different than lick my dick. That's not
Fair
really
enough.
advice, is it?
I apologize. To
We can't
Ismail.
say that to. Thank God this is the non-binary segment, because women would be furious with us right now.
You don't have to have advice for non-binary.
No. I
We're just so happy you came over.
no. I got advice. Oh God, my life is. It's gonna be something about. Gifts are important.
That's true.
And I think.
Agreed.
It really feels good to give someone a gift, but it's a pain in the ass when it happens. But I've as I've gotten older, I didn't like celebrate my friends. So yeah, I said happy birthday, but I didn't like go and get them something.
Yeah.
and that can really solidify something. And it's not everyone's love language,
No.
but it might be one of your friends or your partner's love language, and that's true whether you're non-binary or not.
So the
beautiful.
tip is to give gifts.
Yeah, give.
I
think it's a
agree
good
with
gift.
that. I think that's
it's
great.
good.
I love Santa,
I didn't.
the big man.
With I think because divorced parents, I didn't like witness kind of the gift giving ritual as
Sure.
often.
You didn't get
As-
double gifts.
Yeah,
no,
sometimes you get
I got the
double.
gifts, but I'm saying I didn't see
You
gifts
see-
between
okay.
like adults, like
I see.
kind of your mutuals. I saw like parents to kids,
And divorce
and both my parents are
gifts,
non-binary.
That's really big of
And
you.
good for them. Plural.
Divorced parent gifts can often get kind of competitive and political in a way too, where it doesn't feel
Your
like
parents are
the
divorced.
spirit of gift. Yeah, but my parents divorced as an adult. I mean, when I was an adult, so
Right.
it's not like
My dad, when I
I didn't really experience that per se.
my dad, there's one very specific time where he said, "What do you have at your mom's that you don't have at my house?" And he went out and bought, and it was like a weird. It was like one was a Sting album. I don't know why.
She doesn't have it. That's objectively true.
And my dad literally like full on Machiavellian was like, "I'll get all 5 of these things on your list."
I'm so into the idea you're at your mom's house and you're trying to put on Desert Rose.
but
And
she
she's
did
like,
have
turn
it.
that shit off. You think you're at your dad's?
It's the other way around.
The only thing I didn't have, I wasn't, because this is more my stepdad. I wasn't allowed to have Eminem. Like my stepdad just watched the news. So
Sure.
like for example, my stepdad, we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons at that house.
Oh.
Because he
Very
saw it on the
edgy.
news once that they insulted Reagan. and
I'm sure they did.
and Eminem albums, that was the age of where that's all the news talked about. And so my stepdad was like, no Eminem. Meanwhile, I have Korn albums and like some wild shit, D12. You know, they're
Sure,
not talking about
yeah.
D12 on the news.
Wow,
But they're talking about
that's a shame.
drugs. But Eminem was the one artist that my father, who would let me watch anything. There was an Eminem. It was the first album. What was it? Marshall Mathers.
Marshall Mathers. No, Marshall Mathers.
What was the one Guilty
LP is the
Conscience
Sex
was
Slim
on?
Shady LP is the first one.
Okay. And it was Guilty Conscience with Dr. Dre. And there's a scene where there's a drunk 15-year-old. I mean, this is a different time. And Eminem goes, yo, look at her bush. Does it got hair? And my dad heard it from the other room, came in, ripped the CD out, broke it in
Wow.
half, threw it in the
Wow.
trash. And then the next day, because I was so upset, he went out and bought the same CD for me again.
Oh, so
Caved
that's
immediately.
like really encouraging Eminem to do more crimes.
Yeah.
You won't buy 2
The
CDs.
point of the song is he's bad, at
whole-
least.
The whole song is Dr. Dre is trying to change him, and he can't because he's so
Bush
bad.
so much.
And he's addicted to Bush.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
That was my dad's biggest problem with the song. He said,
Yeah.
son,
Clean shave.
Pretty much every crime in the book
He
is
said
in that
clean your
song.
pussies.
By the way, clean your pussies. New tip for non-binary people, by the way. Check out D12 when you get a minute. I feel like they're
Yeah.
kind of flying under the radar, but we could bring D12 back. It's
I don't think I know who that
2024.
is, D12.
D12, that was like Eminem's like,
Oh,
it was
right.
like, I think 12, it was like,
It was all 12 of them.
These
I think it was
chicks
like
don't even
a
know.
Wu-Tang Clan in the sense of like they all had their own careers,
Right.
but they also came together and did songs.
It was
for
a
them.
big style collabo.
They had this song, da 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 da.
Yeah.
I think so. Purple Hills. Oh, it was Purple Hills. It was about pills. The amount of drug songs I listened to without doing any kinds of drugs, and I was like, yeah, that sounds wild. I'm never gonna try it. This song is the closest I'm gonna get to Quaaludes.
You know, if D12 is your point of reference, though, I understand why you didn't try it because they seem like they're living a scary life.
Yeah, no, none of them seemed together.
And also, not many of them have careers anymore, so that's got to be hard.
Sure, I'm getting back. I like the beef. I'm getting back into rap because of the, I think
Sure,
as you get
the
older,
Kendrick,
I think I get
Drake
detached from
beef.
music because I don't watch the music video. I don't look at the lyrics. I don't get deeper into it.
There's no storylines.
And the way I think the Drake Kendrick and then some other beef stuff. There's a beef right now between Mac Lethal, who's like he did a lot of YouTube videos. At a certain point, he raps really fast.
Okay.
Oh, no.
He's lethal.
And then the guy who is the worst is Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
He's the one who recently did a song with Ben Shapiro, which I think kind of indicates his direction of rap. And he's like, even from a non-rap aficionado, I'm like, he's bad. He's bad.
He's
I mean,
like
other
the
political
Weird
belief
Al.
society is also just like he's like got 20 albums.
Yeah.
And they're all about like what happened to America.
Sure.
And he's Canadian.
Wow.
And
Ted Cruz style.
yeah. And
should
so like
collab.
they're having a beef that no one's talking about. But I'm watching like the analysis of the songs and it's fun.
They should team up. It should be like Kendrick and that one guy. Who cares about that thing? This is my
Who's the other
wife's,
Yeah, what is
This is my wife's grandma's chair. This is like 1,000,000 years old.
but like I don't think I've ever seen
it's a cover for the arm.
Now, if you're listening to the show, Jeremy has pointed out Gianmarco has lifted an arm cover off
Yes.
the chair, and we're explaining what arm covers are.
I don't know why
But
they
it's
exist.
so-
Everyone drops them every time.
But it would be for like when company comes over. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Like when
Oh,
the
you think
queen
that's what
comes
it
over.
is?
Well, what's the cover
I think
for?
I think maybe.
I think you got it backwards.
Yeah,
dog.
they think
I
you have dirty arms.
the queen comes on and says like,
Yeah, like,
throw
put the
this on.
Yeah,
cover
she's
on.
gonna fuck
But it's the
my hair up.
same. But it's the same. It looks. The cover
is
looks the same
identical.
as the arm.
I don't know.
That's so
It
when
would
you
be
spill
like if
barbecue sauce on it, you can just be like, it's fine.
It would be the equivalent, like people wear those T-shirts where it's like a nude body on top of it.
Sure, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like we'll just show it. If it was nicer, if their new body has a six pack, it's like, oh, that's the gag.
Okay, yeah.
If this was like
gold,
a gold, yeah.
If you were to wear a tuxedo T-shirt over a tuxedo, for instance,
I mean, it's like a napkin. I would get this dirty immediately. I would see this as permission to
maybe we can
put
clean
food.
it. I don't know. I've never cleaned it. If we'd love
and
to have
he's
the
never
queen
even
on.
cleaned it, folks. We're talking about fine
right, we should
armchair
read
covers, and Jeremy's never cleaned them. Now we should do the premise of the show, but what do we do at the beginning of this?
We ask a question on Quora at the end of every episode, so we read answers we got from last week.
That's true. At the end, you
Last
will
week
ask a
we
question.
asked Julia Child comes to your door asking for food to judge. What would you cook her?
Thank you, little John.
Most answers on this is just someone being like, she's dead.
Now
So-
apparently this is like our best performing Quora question of all time.
Yeah, it has like
People were writing in.
30
They were like, "You
answers.
guys are killing it with your Julia Child's question."
yeah.
Brian Fay says, "I don't feed zombies."
Yeah, people are pretty mad about
That's
it.
a bit tongue in cheek, isn't it?
Julia Child died in 2004. Where have you been living?
Oh, this is terrible news for me.
Oh, that's that.
Okay, so this is for food to judge.
I don't know. I don't really want to read all these people's
I mean, if it
answers.
was a zombie, you go. I think the clever answer is you brains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give us some brains.
I think that makes
obviously it's
sense.
brains.
You cook it up, make it nice, make it into like a stew, brain stew.
Sure.
I just
Would you eat brains?
Would I
Do
personally?
you push yourself to try adventurous foods?
I like to try
Oh.
something weird. I don't know
What's
if
the
any
weirdest thing
human.
you've eaten?
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of
I've
anything
done
in particular.
Pig ears,
Sure.
not great. Lamb stomach, not great. It
I
hasn't
think my
been great.
dad ate alligator once. That's a
Well,
weird one.
alligator. I've had
Yeah.
alligator.
I think I've had alligator.
That's not
I've-
even a weird food
know-
on the bayou.
I went to Paris and I was really. This might be fucked up. I really wanted to try horse,
Sure.
and this I think because my
sounds
dad had a
bad.
horse
It's
and loved the
fine.
horse more than me.
Right.
Specifically, I looked if they had my dad's horse.
He was listening to a lot of
Specifically.
Eminem and no one cared. Your dad's horse.
Look at her back. Does it got a tail? That was terrible, but there was something there.
And it did.
He's got a mane.
But people don't. I mean, listen. People got really mad at not mad, but RFK.
Oh, sure, he had that
And
dog.
first, they have some things against him to begin with.
Yeah.
But then they got mad about the dog, the picture of him eating a dog. And there is a part of me that goes, guys, we eat these other animals. As long
Would
as it
you eat a
wasn't
dog?
someone's dog.
If it wasn't like a cute one, maybe. Which was like a dog. I don't think it would.
I think if I
good.
was in a country where it was like if like they're sweet green, like it was like tofu, chicken, dog.
You'd try
The
it?
only
It's
reason
on
I
the
wouldn't
menu?
do it was a fear of people
Getting
Finding
judging.
out.
Yeah.
It's the judgment.
Yeah, but who are we kidding?
The RFK thing is interesting because he claimed it was just like a racist joke he was making to a friend while they were going to Korea.
That's amazing to have.
It wasn't bad.
Is that what he claimed? That it was a
I think he
racist
was-
joke?
I don't know if he said it was
Being
racist. He was
racist.
just like, oh, my friend's going to Korea. I was just joking to say like, oh, you should try dog. But the way I read it originally, where I was like, if there is an actual restaurant in Korea that sells dog, that seems almost less controversial to be like, you should go there. I've been there and I tried it.
Even if you were making the racist joke, you'd say it was a dog.
It's real.
It was a real dog.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's worse to be like, oh no, I was just being racist. I made it up.
That's
that they do
incredible.
that. I think.
Yeah, the second that you're eating pigs, I think anything short of like a monkey, you might as well just get on.
Yeah, pigs
board.
are smarter than dogs.
They're smarter than
They're
dogs.
basically
Yeah,
people.
I
You
saw
could love them like that.
at the whatever the food market I go to. Sometimes they sell pig like hoofs. I don't even know where the meat is on it, but you see it and you're like, God,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
fucked
that's
up.
a thing.
That looks like
that's
my
a
hoof.
being.
You could eat octopus like at any restaurant in New York. I feel like,
Right.
and those are like basically people as well.
You ever
They
see a
could run for
video?
mayor.
They
It's
could.
like
I'd vote for one.
There's a video of it's a fish, and it's cut in half, but I guess it's still alive, and it's at like the market, and for whatever suddenly it
Sure.
falls out a little, and it comes to life, and starts like a half a fish,
Oh,
just
whoa.
flopping. Oh God,
Half of a fish can
it's
come
evil.
back to life.
It's
Yeah.
evil what we're doing, and
It's so tasty though.
I don't know how I feel about some of this information coming across, but that was last week, and
Okay.
we won't be discussing things like that now.
Let's read a bunch
as we
of new
begin
Quora
our
questions.
theme for this week, which
Twisted World.
in honor of Gianmarco's Twisted Worlds.
Are you kind of a twisted guy?
Am I a twisted guy?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm pretty like A to B. It
Okay.
makes sense.
Well,
Yeah,
you're kind
yeah.
of our rock for today.
Sure, I'll be the rock.
So that we can kind of bounce these off of you. So what is the first segment we're doing?
A philosophy, our philosophy segment. These are philosophy-based Quoras. Okay. This question is, how would human life be affected if all animals were the size of cats?
Think about that.
Wow, that my mind went to Pokemon very quickly because
Sure.
most of I understand some of them get really big, but a lot of them are convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Onyx is a little bit bigger than a cat.
Okay, sure.
He's pretty big. I don't know if you've seen him.
Alex is Onyx Defender.
Not to mention Steelix, folks. I got 1 million of these.
You got 1 million. I only got 151.
Oh, you
gotta check
must
out
get the
Gen
later
2.
seasons.
I recently was doing some kind of stand-up thing, and I tried doing the Pokemon reference, and
Sure.
I have no idea. All I know is 150, and then 151 if you include
Mew.
you. And then,
You
but
thought you
beyond
could get
that,
Jeremy with that? No way, pal.
let's see if Jeremy can get this. How many are there now, though? It's crazy.
It's like 1,000.
It's out of control, and the
It's so
Democrats
many.
are to blame.
Yeah, they refuse to limit the amount of Pokemon.
We got to cut down on these.
Nancy Pelosi.
So you look at some of the new Pokemon, and you're like, this one's just a gun. That's not a monster.
You know what it feels like? It feels like Beanie Babies, where like Beanie Babies, like they started out original, then they kept pumping it out, then they started doing branding, and like suddenly there's like the Ronald McDonald Beanie
Right,
Baby.
right,
You see it like in stores, and one day they'll do that. One day with Pokemon they'll do the Chevy.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the Cars universe.
Chevrolet, Toyota Prius. It's the Cars Pokemon crossover. It's like a Magic the Gathering thing.
It's really funny to think they can only say the name of a product. Coca-Cola.
GE Appliances. To focus back on the question, please, if all animals were the size of cats, we're assuming not including humans, even though humans are
animals.
trigger warning animals.
Thank you for that trigger warning.
Yeah, if you need to leave, there's the unsub button.
Sure.
If you're on YouTube, if you're on your phone,
Using that picture
I
of
can't point at
RFK eating a human being, and he was like, "I was just being racist."
that. I was just being racist is my new favorite defense of something bad I did.
It was just racism. That's my bad.
I think the reason though it has power because it's something you don't want to admit. So you're like, well, it must be true if they're admitting that thing. The question is the thing that you did worse than casual racism?
He blames his brain worm a lot for stuff. He'll be like, "Oh, the worm made me do it."
That's my
Which
twisted
is
worm.
actually kind of like a good move.
Hey,
if
we'd
you're
be
gonna
talking-
blame something, like, "Oh, the worm made me do it."
Think about how much RFK we'd be talking about if the theme was twisted worms.
Yeah,
Sure.
Twisted worms.
that could be a Biden thing. He could do that. He's like, guys, the debate. Listen, my dementia was acting
Sure,
up.
yeah.
How was a
It's just dementia. You can't make fun of someone's dementia.
He just also starts claiming he has a worm. Like, just his team tells him, like, just blame it on a worm.
It's working for RFK.
It's our new move. Okay. Wait, this is an interesting angle to the question, though. Smaller animals are now also the size of cats. So
sure.
worms are cat-sized. Spiders, cat-sized.
Oh, that's how dumb. That's how like stuck
cat.
within the box I am. All I was thinking was big to
too.
small,
Me too.
not small to big. That's
Surprise,
that's
hot
scary.
shot. The little ones are big, too. That means there's way too many bugs now, for one.
We would take exterminators would be heroes.
Sure.
Oh,
They
yeah.
would be much more important
Yeah.
in society. But instead of my exterminator comes and he knocks and he just sprays something that will take years off my life just casually
yeah,
all
yeah,
over
yeah.
my kitchen.
Yeah.
And I think like if they were this size, he'd come to the door And I go, oh, thank God you're here.
Right.
And he'd have
like, a
swords and he'd
shotgun.
have like a shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, just shooting bed bugs.
A cockroach the size of my fridge keeps coming out of the walls.
You know, when they check kids for lice in school,
Oh
it
my
would be a lot
God.
easier. It'd be like, you have lice. You have
Oh,
lice.
yeah. There's like 50 pounds of animals on your head. Okay, so this does actually clarify the question for me. Humanity would be overrun, and it would be
Yeah, by flies
It
or
would be
something.
Jover for us because
Sure.
there's so many arthropods. That's it, sis. That's the tea as well. We're done and we're cooked as well and we're done.
You're very Gen Z coded today, Alex.
I'm younger than ever before. It's just so fucking hot.
Which animal would you have if it were that size? Like, would you want as a pet if that were possible now?
I have as a pet in the moments before I'm like eaten by cat-sized centipedes.
Sure.
I guess the thing is I do like cats already.
Like a
so I
tiny
guess
elephant.
yeah, tiny elephant sounds good.
Can I say it would be fun though if you were like
Big cat.
You know, you have a fly. If there were big flies,
Sure.
I think we live in a society where we would have to casually shoot them down.
Yeah.
And not to be pro guns, but I do think it would be
In this world.
And you would have to.
Yeah. In this world, we got to make some change.
This is a nightmare.
But if you got to walk down the street and just like, oh, boom, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like a first person shooter.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be fun to shoot them on your way out, I guess. Think of how many fucking ants there would be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like an army of ants would now be cat-sized ants.
There'd be like mass shootings and it'd be like, no, he was just trying to get this fly. And it
Yeah.
was really good.
I think it would just be over for us instantly, probably. What did the Quora answers say?
Everyone's very confused on Quora. They seem to think that the question is, what if animals were cats?
No, they're not. It's
So
the size
one
of. Read
guy-
it again.
This guy Gil says herding cows would be difficult. Ever try to herd cats?
Read the question
it's not-
again.
it's not
Read it
what-
a second time.
And then someone else said, rapidly eliminated to a great extent. Cats are very, very efficient hunters.
That's true.
I guess. I mean, if birds were the size of cats, it would be harder for them to kill them.
If I had a cow that was the size of a cat,
Mm.
I would absolutely use it for milk. For
You'd
fresh
be a lot
milk
less
in the
milk,
morning.
though. You would not
You
get,
get
as
less
much.
milk.
Oh my God, I didn't know there was a cat here. And the fact that it felt like that just appeared, given our conversation. For those listening, your cat just
Milo.
went off their perch.
Yeah, he's never been on screen.
I said there because I know non-binary.
That's right. My cat is not binary.
Yeah, he's kind of a two-spirit.
He is also Native American.
Both spirits? All cat. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
There are two wolves inside the cat.
He's very confused.
Let's move on to the next question,
Okay.
please.
This next segment is
I'm at
forbidden
work right
knowledge. Okay, this is the question we were talking about before the podcast.
This is kind of unknown and spiritual, kind of disturbing sometimes questions. Ghosts often come up. I want you to prepare yourself.
I'll try not to be the boring, these new ghosts.
Thank you.
We've had it
That's
happen.
what I am. These new ghosts.
And there
so
are.
Next question.
Yeah, that's not engaging in good faith here.
I'll engage elephants being the size of cats, not ghosts. Sorry. Don't do it.
By the way, Jeremy, I'm just noticing we have 33 notifications on our bell, and I'm electric with it.
On our Quora notifications.
We're finally out of anonymity
Yeah.
on Quora as
I'm so
Alberto
excited for us.
Mysterio.
We're going to make so much money. Okay, here's a question. Are you a firstborn and gay, or is there someone you know that is the first child and gay? I have a theory that the first child is always straight. Can you confirm my hypothesis?
honey.
Now, we're all firstborn children.
First of our line.
And I think
We're
all
going to
straight.
inherit land. I know I am straight. Sure. We're both married.
That's right. Not to each other.
Gianmarco, I talked to you the least out of everyone in the room. How straight are you feeling?
A decent amount.
Do you think you could become gay to disprove a theory?
I mean, I'd become gay to do a lot of things.
This is show business.
Yeah.
right.
Hello.
Tom Hardy. Didn't he have that quote that was like, of course I've had sex with a man. I'm an actor.
Sure. I also think like I've done acting things where I was gay, and I'm like, that means I'm gay for pay.
Sure, yeah.
And honestly, the thing I did for it was unpaid. So I was gay for exposure.
Gay for fun, really.
Yeah.
That's
Gay
really
for the
funny.
credit.
Yeah.
I'm gay just to meet Tom Hardy.
And I certainly don't have any data about this. If someone were to say to me, the straight person is more likely than the second or third or fourth to be straight. My casual armchair, which fits for this philosophy on it, theory would be because they're the firstborn in a society that isn't as welcoming to gay people, they would put on that mask.
They're
a
older.
little more, and then the youngest is like the parents not looking, so I'm gonna fuck.
Right.
Also,
So-
just literally society. I mean, like gay marriage was passed like 10 years ago.
Oh,
If
you
you're-
mean just due to time?
If you're 25 versus 15, maybe you're
Well,
more
this is
gay.
a hypothesis, so
That's right.
it has to be tested. I assume, just looking at the numbers, there's got to be some firstborn gays
I
out
definitely
there.
know firstborn gays.
I'm trying to think if I know any.
3.
My old roommate in college is a comedian named Darian Lusk, and he's a firstborn gay.
Isn't he an only
Shouts
child,
out.
though?
No, he has a brother.
All
Two
right,
brothers.
I take it back. All right.
I know 3 firstborns that are secretly gay. They haven't come out of
Sure.
the closet. Their names.
Name them.
Names,
Damien.
addresses, places of work. All right, so we've instantly found some. So that's good to point out for this question. Are there any of the question answerers onto something? There's over 100 answers, it says.
People are just naming people who are gay. Amy says my cousin is the firstborn in his family. 3 younger
Amy's
siblings.
cousin.
He is gay. They are all straight. There goes your theory, I guess. And she's from Hudson Valley.
All right.
And she's a film geek, a nature freak, a rock and roller, and a
And a
shutterbug.
shutterbug. With a
I think
gay
it's
cousin,
It's more
she's got it
interesting
all.
to say every firstborn is gay,
Yeah, I think that's fine.
and then the 3 of us go, no.
we're the only ones who aren't.
Wrong and cringe.
It seems like that's the better hypothesis. A lot of people are just saying I'm the firstborn. and gay.
It's me. Tag yourself. I'm gay.
No one wants to play along with this hypothesis, such as like with the tiny elephant, unfortunately.
Well, that's sad, but it is good that we can come to a solid answer on this question.
One person's mad. He says, I'm afraid that's not a theory. It's a hypothesis. So don't call it a theory.
One person misunderstood. They thought all firstborns were cats.
Read it again. They're gay.
They're gay cats.
Or they're not gay, I guess.
Let's see if there's any, because on Quora, there's a section under the question where it's like answers that need improvement. And it kind of like scolds these answers. But these all seem fine.
They're often around the same quality as the normal answers, I gotta say.
This guy says, first child gay here, and so is my boyfriend. Myth busted.
He did spell myth M-I-T-H, which I've never seen.
MITH?
You gotta
Yeah.
go back to school, buddy.
I have a new theory. All gays can't spell.
Well, I've got one person who can't. His name is Pedro.
I can't disprove it, and so I must
He
sign
does
on.
live in Brazil.
Oh,
for
so
what it's
maybe
worth.
that's just how they spell myth there.
Yeah. So we were just being racist.
Yeah. In Brazil, it's with an
It's a
I.
good excuse.
I personally,
look
I
it
was
up.
actually eating dog, but
I do wonder what a dog would taste like, but we simply must move on.
Okay,
and you got to wonder if if it's like, ooh, Rottweiler. You got to try Rottweiler versus.
They're so
Sure.
different.
Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
And then once you start having them, it is like I am gonna catch them all in my mouth.
Do all animals? This is so dumb. Maybe we can ask this to Quora.
Sure.
So dogs. There's so many different kinds of dogs, but they're all dogs, but they're wildly different.
Yeah.
But I feel like, is it the same with elephants? Are there so many different kinds of elephants? Are the differences more subtle, or they're just like I can't?
Oh,
see
I know.
them?
I know about
All
this one,
elephants
though.
look the same.
There's Indian and there's African elephants. I know that.
But you know how like there's not
There's
like
2.
well, this elephant is tiny, a Shih Tzu elephant,
Sure.
and this one's a
The
big
thing
elephant.
with dogs is they've evolved alongside humankind, who's been doing like breeding experiments on them.
Yeah,
for
we've been doing, like,
hundreds of
Nazi
We could
thousands.
be doing breeding experiments with every animal and
Yeah.
have that many
We
variations.
could.
That's
We really
really
could.
cool.
Yeah.
Careful what you ask for. I don't know if you've seen pugs, but they shouldn't exist.
Yeah, dogs are like fully man-made, right? They're like a man-made
They
product.
cooked it. We ruined wolves,
Yeah.
El Mao.
We did. We
Check
sure
out
did.
this wolf. It cannot breathe through its nose.
This poor wolf. That
And we are on
ruined.
forbidden knowledge, so I feel like there's got to be some good wolf questions coming up.
Okay, here's another question from Quora. It only has one answer.
I
Well, actually, it has
really
an
like
answer.
this one. I've
Okay.
had it in the dock for weeks.
Why did God create werewolves and vampires? Is there a way to permanently defeat them?
So the question is not, are there werewolves and vampires?
It's
Given there are,
Why did God do this?
how do we get rid of them forever? And why?
I don't know. So if you believe God created vampires, how dare you get rid of them, right?
Right.
It's
Well,
God's creature.
that's kind of where I'm coming from here, which is like, okay, so you think these things are around and they're like unholy super creatures, and you're going to just like make them go away? You're going to become a vampire. Shut up.
I thought the whole thing with vampires is they're like, it's anti-God. It's like devilish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like God doesn't approve of it. I don't think God has the
yeah.
power
He's like,
to
cut it
stop
out.
them.
You can't. They're
Yeah.
stronger than God.
It's like a rule breaking kind of thing. It's like, why would God create the devil? Well, he created vampires and he created the werewolves through his own negligence.
Also, it's like, if we're going to talk about like, this is like, the problem of evil. Like, if God exists, why is there evil?
That's
Instead
big
of vampires,
facts.
why don't we look at cancer?
Sure.
Like, do we have to skip? Like, why did God make that?
Cancer is
and
kind of-
werewolves are the two.
I was going to say cancer is kind of the werewolf of the cell.
It kind of is, yeah.
It's when a cell wolfs out.
Remember when Joe Biden in 2020 said he was going to cure cancer? What if he had said he was going to destroy all werewolves?
I did not remember that.
He
That's
did say
so
that.
funny. That guy's awesome. He loves to lie. He's addicted to lying. I have a little man in my backpack. You can't see him right now.
I think that's probably one of the biggest problems of like, obviously the political breakdown, but it's like, how can you say that and that not be the only thing you talk about every day since every interview?
The cancer
I don't
one
care
or
what
the
happens. That you
werewolves
either every interview start with just like, so before we get to this, like, what's going on with the cancer thing?
All this I'm too old stuff should just be like, if you replace me, we'll never cure cancer.
Sure.
I'm the only one.
Of which there are many, by the way. There's like hundreds of cancers.
Right,
There's
but
like
he can-
as
he
many
can cook it
cancers
up.
as there are dogs.
I honestly think if he wants to keep running, he should go, I'm a vampire. It's okay. I actually got a lot more years left in me.
Listen, Mac, I don't take interviews in the day.
Yeah, he should switch to only
All
doing
night.
It is interesting
Night
how
Biden.
I don't think other than this one person, not that many people actually believe in vampires, but there is the conspiracy of drinking young people's blood. What is that called? Where they
Oh.
think Hillary Clinton, all
They
this
like inject.
Yummy
Oh, sure, that
blood.
too. The
Yeah.
the adrenochrome.
adrenochrome.
shit,
Yeah,
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
me-
but it's
blood.
like the something in our brain, like there's this thing of like our blood is our life, and
Yeah.
now it's a new vampire. Can you imagine someday they have to do Twilight, but instead of like a hot Edward, it's
Hillary Clinton and Brian Johnson, that guy who keeps stealing his son's blood to stay young.
Yeah, but he sparkles in the sun.
She's got to choose between both of them. She's like, I'm not in love with either of these
These guys
two.
are disgusting.
Are you team Hillary or team the old weird billionaire?
If she had his baby, it would tear her apart.
Who
That's
dare
part of the
Hillary?
plot of
Twilight?
I realize I've gone too deep on Twilight.
Listen, I read them all.
Yeah?
them all. Oh yeah, it was in. I mean, it's embarrassing that I did.
Which team were you?
I watched New Moon this year.
I was always team Edward
Yeah.
because I see
like
myself as
vampires.
Edward. It's very much like,
Really?
well, I'm Edward, so. But like, it was just so crazy how it was like 50 Shades of Grey in the sense that it was like sexual. It was like softcore porn.
Yeah.
Where it was like they talked a lot about sex, but in the most like. Rather than like I was fucking in my pussy, it was like, and then the bed shattered to pieces.
Oh.
And it's like, well, how?
Because of all the
of the fucking
vampire sex.
Beautiful.
Would you say your Edward phase was before or after your Steve Jobs phase?
I think they coincided with each other.
I will live forever.
Business vampire. Coming soon to TBS.
What a life. What a life to live. There is no way to permanently defeat them. Give up now.
Okay, there's a very strange answer on this.
I would like to hear
The
it.
top answer by Jim Thompson says, God didn't create them. They are just imaginary, like evolution. So this is
proving evolution.
Amazing. That's an
creationist.
amazing answer because it's like, hey, stop being unscientific about this shit. You're talking like an evolutionary scientist.
He is a creationist who thinks God is fake, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of Bible questions on his profile. We pulled that up.
Does he have a lot of Bible questions?
Oh my God, are there
yeah.
atheist creationists? That sounds like a song.
Probably not, I would say. Okay, so evolution comes out. When does evolution drop? Is it 91, 92? It's like 1850 something, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And then atheism was
Is that
kind of in
recent? I
vogue
didn't-
around then.
Sure.
And I think the first thing you go to if you're atheist is like, I got another great reason there's no God right here, actually. It's because we're all fucking monkeys.
Sure, but you could believe a creationist, but like an alien did it as opposed to God.
Oh,
Scientology.
but then you're a
basically.
theist.
Oh, sure.
You believe that the aliens created you.
Sure, I think they would argue, well, it's not a god, it's just a creature.
It's just like some guy who did it. A bunch of guys. They're all aliens.
I'm a some guyist.
I'm gonna call you theists at that point. You're a damn theist.
This guy, Jim Thompson, by the way, he has his own space that he's a moderator of called Evolution is a Myth.
Yo, how active is it? How active is it? Pull it up.
204 something.
Posts. 137 followers. So that's not an unused Quora
Yeah, they're using it.
space. They need a better name for their spaces, because if I just say space, it's like not really clear what we're talking about. But we're talking about Quora spaces here on the Quorators podcast.
He's
Like
trying
and subscribe.
to destroy evolution.
Oh, damn. They got pictures of atoms. So there's all kinds of stuff that's going on in evolution. Do we have any other good answers on the initial question?
The good news is that werewolves, vampires, and your god do not exist.
Shut up. Shut up.
Already
Yes, they
defeated.
do.
No
not the
things
question.
necessary.
Shut the fuck up.
Someone else said yes by not believing them, and then one last person said there are none.
That's what I said. Okay. Well, we've come as far as we can on the werewolf question.
Hold on. This is actually a Quora AI question, I think.
What?
This is a
Wait,
question.
AI's asking
Again?
like
AI.
someone's asking me this, and I don't know.
This is AI asking.
What is going on? This keeps happening. And the other two have been like kind of just social questions, and this one's about werewolves?
Why would the AI ask
Does
this?
it say like how many trees had to die for this AI to ask this one question?
Yeah, pour out a glass of water to find out how to defeat vampires.
These robots are trying to ruin my podcast. I'm so fucking
Well, I
mad.
find it interesting because I do want to know why would the AI ask if God created werewolves? Like, it is very strange.
I think they're just wondering if they should create werewolves.
Sure.
Like in the
Well, you're saying the
Hive Mind?
AI asked the question that we just heard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I believed it was a person.
I know.
Me too.
This has happened a bunch of times.
The only reason I could see AI asking questions is because obviously AI can only use what's in the past.
Right.
And so maybe it reaches a point where it goes, we don't have the data for this.
Sure, yeah.
And so it needs to get new input. And that's what it does. I mean,
We have
it's
almost no
truly
data. Oh, why God created vampires. Nothing in the book.
Why would he do that?
It is hard to know where this all AI is. I like listening to like some tech
Sure.
podcasts, and I got the sense of that it wasn't this thing that everyone said was going to happen really soon, wasn't fully coming together. It's hard to know what's going to come from this.
Well, it's so far trying to figure out how to defeat vampires.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
gotta
not-
say, I hate the part.
I
where we're
much
at.
prefer that if it's doing that rather than like, I don't know,
Skynet.
making movies or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm madder than I've ever been. Please bring us to
And
our
you're
next
not going to
question.
take it anymore. Let's go to our animal segment, Quora Gone Wild. That's a tiger. This question has
Please
no
let the
answers.
tiger finish.
Alex, I have bad news for you. This is also an AI question.
Okay, get it out of here. Forget about the tiger sound.
Okay, this is.
I don't want to talk
We'll do
about
the
this.
police ones. 5 quo.
If these are AI questions, I'm jumping out the window.
This is not AI.
Okay.
Or
is
hit
it?
the police? No, it's not, because it's the little lightning bolt here that is.
All right,
what
so this
does
is
it.
5 quo. This is the podcast. This is not happening in your car where you're listening to it.
Okay.
This is just a siren in the podcast.
This is a question that hopefully we can answer. It's not from AI. It's from a person. Why am I a wanted fugitive?
There could be so many reasons.
This guy's name is Michael J. Van Vorst.
it'd be funny if it was like this guy's name is OJ Simpson.
R.I.P.
He stopped posting a few months ago. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Do you think OJ did it?
Is that one of the questions?
No.
Okay. You did it in the Quora voice, but
His bio says repeated Chester, married 4 times, cheated on all. So I assume
Michael!
by Chester he means cheater.
Oh, well, maybe that's what they call each other?
Is he from Brazil by any chance? Chester.
It is a myth.
He asked a question 2 years ago. My name is Mike Van Vorst. I am a cheating husband who stalks my wife.
No answers yet on that one. He knows about you're fired.
And then he has another one that says, why are there such drama queens on here just begging for attention? Don't these people have lives to live?
Okay, Mike Van Vorst, I think the call is coming from inside the house on this one.
This just feels like he's like trying to build up his. It's rage bait. Why are there so many I'm a cheater. Why?
He's just on Quora for clout to
I don't know.
meet cheaters in his area.
He's very upset about cheating if he's serious. A
What?
lot of his questions are about cheating on
Yeah,
his
he's like
several wives.
relentless about how unfaithful he is to these wives.
He says, I am gay and 62. I use women as a front in front of my family. Why do I keep opening more accounts for dating? I have like over 100.
Any good answers on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually ask an answer. I'm gonna ask a question on his.
He must be a
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
must not be a firstborn.
Boom. Got him.
He hasn't been on Quora in 2 years, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, Alberto Mysterio has got his ass.
Oh, how do I do this? I hate this website. It's so bad.
I don't know what you mean. Why is he
Is
a
it
wanted
bad that
fugitive?
I gave him in my mind? I gave him more sympathy when I found out he was gay, cheating on his wives. There was something where I was
Sure,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's tough."
He's just trying
Is
to
he-
burn it all down.
Is he cheating on them with men or with other women, though?
If it's
That's
other
the
women,
question.
that's crazy because you don't even really want to cheat.
No.
You're just doing it
He's addicted
to
to
fit
it.
in.
I mean, it's crazy either way to get married 4 times and then keep going on the down low.
Wait, you cheated on your wife? Are you gay?
I just feel like the first marriage I've ruined by cheating on my wife being gay, I'd be like, okay, they got me. Can't get away with that 3 more times.
I met this guy online. Where? What dating app? Actually, Quora. Tell me about him. Well,
He's not
cheated
loyal.
on 4 of his wives. He's gay. That feels very much like the John Mulaney. The
I'm new in
gay.
town.
I'm new in town. It's
Sure,
like,
yes.
I'm gay. I've been married 4 times. Cheated on them all with women.
I have 10,000 questions on Quora.
So he's probably a fugitive from for marital dispute reasons.
Yeah,
like
maybe
not
they're
paying
coming
alimony.
for him. The freaking marriage police.
Yeah, the
marriage ref.
The liberal police are after him to make him to love his wife. That's what I think.
I think it's possible maybe that he hasn't paid alimony. That seems like a genuine reason he could be in legal trouble, right?
There's so many ways to break
As
the
a man
law.
who's been married 4 times.
I mean, if you just think about Eminem's song and all the different ways that he does it.
Well, this guy Eric Ross says, apparently your questions on Quora have reached a criminal level of stupidity, or possibly nobody wants you or is interested in your delusions of being pursued for any reason.
He met, hey, what are you here for? What are you in prison for? I killed someone. What are you in prison for? Posted to me dumb fucking questions on Quora.
People thought it was so annoying. They fucking hate me on there.
Wow. Eric Ross is a dentist. I don't know why that's interesting to me. Maybe
Are
he's
we
a
almost at
dentist.
his favorite time of day?
2:30.
2:30? Yeah, we got another hour.
We have another hour.
That's too bad.
It's going to be a while until it's his time.
All right, let's read another question.
Okay, we're still on 5 quo.
If I steal someone's dog, how long do I have to wait until it is legally mine? And
Hey.
this is from RFK Jr., I think.
Well, it's not a prompt by a robot, so we're all
No,
winners
this guy's
here.
name is Antonio Lazama.
Okay.
And his only other question ever is, why are bats called bats?
I don't know. But anyway, back to this dog thing. So this is
Yes.
illegal. Like, what's the statute of limitations on dog
stealing a
ownership?
dog?
Yeah. I think that the dog will probably die before you're legally safe on that one. You maybe and this was our out for the stealing question last week too, or whenever we did that. But if the owner dies, then you can also have the dog. So
Yeah, you have
I
to
don't
kill
know.
the owner.
Maybe you have to take care of some people to get this dog.
I think you just have to do the test where you put the dog in the 2
Yeah, there you go.
people, see what it runs to.
Yeah.
Is that from Air Bud?
Is it from
Because there's a clown that wants the dog back.
in Air Bud?
Am I thinking of the right movie?
The dog who plays basketball
There's
is
a
owned by a
clown.
clown?
I believe that is the end of Air Bud. Is
That's
there?
the end of Air Bud.
I
not
believe-
not the big game. It's
No.
a clown.
Well, it leads up to the big game. 'Cause they're
Oh,
like, why is
I
the dog
believe you.
so
That
good?
makes-
I think this is the right movie.
I don't buy this at all.
At the end, and they're like, "Oh, Air Bud has to go back to the clown," and
He's
Air
so
Bud runs to the person.
Yeah,
because
because they go, "Come on, boy, I'll use you at the circus," and he's like,
Oh, it's a circus dog.
yeah."
that's
an
the answer to
interesting
the question.
backstory.
I mean, honestly, it's like
gaslit this Air Bud.
first the
ending.
dog has to win the finals, and then
Yeah.
if the other owner's a clown and a bad clown, and everyone
Yeah.
goes, "That's a bad
Right, a
clown."
rude
Evil
one as
clown.
well.
Yeah.
But not like a serial killer.
Kind of one who just had no choice because he had to live in a carny life. Anyway, so yeah, it's
I've
not
never
a
seen
matter
Air
of how long.
I've never seen Air Bud, so you could tell me anything about that movie, and I believe it. I guess.
You've never seen Air Bud?
No, I've never seen it.
How have you gotten
The
through
whole team
life?
is cats, and the real thing is, can a dog play basketball
Yeah.
with these cats?
And they can't play at all, so it's actually quite easy for
And they're
them.
actually playing against cat-sized cows.
I'm really not sure of the events of Air Bud in a way that you're really making me question
one thing I
it. But
know
I think
about
this
it-
clown thing's real.
Which I've said on this podcast before, I think, is that it is a real dog. That it's a biopic. It's one of the only dog-based biopics.
Wow, I wonder if that clown part was true then.
It was like a dog that was on like America's Funniest Home Videos or something, because they're like, it's the amazing basketball playing dog.
Yeah.
And then they like adapted it into a movie,
That's a film.
and the dog played himself in it, and then died.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
for real? For real?
That is for real. I'm
What
pretty
about all the
sure.
sequels?
He died after the first one, so they had to get other dogs.
Yeah,
If
he
I
doesn't
was
look
in
that
charge
young.
of, if I was like, leading AI's PR campaign
Uh-huh.
or whatever to make the public be like more okay with it, I think what I'd lead with, instead of making whole new movies, I'd say,
Sure.
look at what we've put these animals through. There was some dog movie where like it leaked. They were trying to do a drowning scene, and the dog looked sad for a second, and everyone said we should murder everyone who made this film. And my AI thing would be like, well, now with AI, we don't have to,
Yeah,
take it out on these animals.
yeah. There you go.
Sorry to give them that idea.
if you're
Wait,
listening,
wait,
Quora, if an AI says, "How do we make us look a little better?" I'll say, "I got an answer for you."
Wait, so your AI idea is to like put in digital dogs?
Yeah, I think like I lead with like, "Hey, we don't want to replace movies. We just want to help the dogs."
I have good news for you. This is already a thing. It's called CGI, and they do it all the damn time.
But is that not what AI is? You just were trying to rebrand it.
I
It's
don't
CGI
know.
that takes more energy and destroys the
I've
world.
been watching this show with all these fake bears in it, and every time I see him, I go, "It's good. It's not a real bear."
what show is this?
It's called The Great. It's on Hulu.
this real?
And this moves into our product placement for the day.
it a real
on
show?
Hulu's The Great. It's about Catherine the Great. It's a
I thought you were about to say
historical
Hulu's The
comedy.
Bear.
And Hulu also does have The Bear, which is another great option for
Jeremy
viewers.
Allen White is AI in that show.
My question is, what doesn't Hulu have? It's a streaming service that has it all, and they pass the value down to you with their low prices.
Is this why you've been referencing Catherine the Great so much? Is
Yes,
you're
it is,
watching a
because I've been
show?
watching this whole fucking show with her in it. I've watched like 20 hours of it.
Wow. All right. There you go.
Okay.
You told me to watch this movie recently called Werner Herzog's Nosferatu.
You ever heard of
And-
that?
You ever heard of Nosferatu?
Yeah,
Came out in the 70s.
yeah.
Vampire guy?
Anyway,
You know
why
about
did God
him?
create this guy? Well, I was reading about that movie, and apparently Werner Herzog killed like 10,000 rats to make this movie.
Absolutely.
Really?
An insane amount of rats.
Well, first of all, he is German.
okay.
And second of all, this is in the violent 20th century where
Sure.
blood came first.
1979.
And blood rules all as well.
We killed him for like a scene, or he was stressed.
Just at being bad at making a movie. Like there were a bunch of rats in the movie, like I think like 10,000 or something, and like half of them died
But the
because
thing-
they like didn't take care of them.
Dracula turns into all kinds of shit. And so I don't know if they're reacting to Dracula.
He
or-
brings back the plague in the movie, so
Yeah.
there's rats everywhere.
That's what it
And
is.
they-
Why would
um,
God let that happen?
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't
great
know.
question. They're all lab rats, and Werner wanted to dye them all gray. And the guy was like, "You can't dye them all; it's not going to work." And he was like, "Just do it."
Turns out he did die.
yeah, exactly.
I'm still hung up on the robot asking, why would God create vampires? So fucking
I like the idea of
mad
the robot
about it.
genuinely not being sure. It's just like it's born into this world as an AI, and it's like,
Can there
There's
not
what?
be vampires?
But that's the thing with AI, especially when it comes to superstitious stuff, because it's getting all its information from things
us.
people put online,
Yeah.
and someone says vampires aren't real, and the AI doesn't have to go, well, it's not real.
Right.
And then
Right.
if you program it to say it's not real, then Elon Musk will be like, well, it's a woke AI.
Yeah. It's awoken to the lie of vampires.
And
Yeah.
AIs are created by a living being, so they are all theists.
Yeah.
Sure.
They believe
That's
in
true.
a god.
They believe in the creator, and the creator is ourselves. Check
Wow.
out Ghost in the Shell.
it's like a naked woman typing it.
Yeah.
Naked animated
Her
woman.
fingers split into like 20 little tiny fingers.
It's Scarlett Johansson.
Scarjo.
Carjo.
Come on the Scar Show.
We gotta get Scarlett Johansson
Shout
on
out.
our show.
I think you were right to be in those movies.
I love that you get a crazy big guest. People are like, did you see Scar Johansson went on the court?
First we have Gianmarco, then we have Scarlett next week. We'll double back. We'll have Maddie Smith again.
Okay, let's do a question about doctors. Quora MD.
Thank
Hit that.
you. Nope, wrong pad. And I nailed it. No, I did. Fuck. Okay. And I nailed it. Welcome to Quora MD. Won't you find out why you are sick? Here on Quora MD.
All right. This is our medical question. One of our last questions.
Why would this happen in a twisted world as well?
Why do I love cock when I use Adderall?
Now,
You know what's
Gianmarco.
so funny is that I've never done Adderall, but I just, and this is a parody in case you're not allowed to say this, I just got two Adderalls for the first time. Haven't tried it yet.
Well, let us know.
And now I'm like, maybe that's the time that firstborn rule kicks in.
I took some Adderall yesterday.
Yeah?
And it didn't
Thoughts?
feel like I loved cock. This may be a specific thing. Famously, Adderall cuts off blood to your cock, and then a lot of people can't have sex when they use it.
I have good news. This is not from the robot.
If it was from AI, that would be the best.
Okay, we scrolled down. There is a penis in there. It's snuck into the... And it's an under answers that need improvement, and I agree with their assessment that time.
The improvement is like, that cock should be in my mouth because I'm on Adderall.
I'm hyper-focused on this hog.
I'll read this guy's answer, the guy who posted the picture of his penis. His name is Little One, and he knows Albanian. And he says, I feel the same way. I want to suck an older man's dick. I really don't know how or what to do. Hit me up if you can help, by the way. I have a little dick. My mom used to tell me how little it was. Now my wife humiliates me. She tells me about it all the time. That's what he says.
All right. No way. The penis picture, too, is very interesting because it's mostly pants with just the head sticking out in the front. I've never seen anything like this.
It's pretty small.
Is this so funny because he so clearly has his own agenda that he's trying to like shovel in there? And I guess it kind of makes sense since that question was about cock. But I could also see this guy being like, yeah, it is hot today. I have a little penis and my wife makes fun of it. And I just want to suck an older man's cock.
Why would God make werewolves? That's kind of funny because they're half man and I'd love to put a cock in my mouth.
It'd be funny if vampires, like the way to defeat a vampire, if you gave them Adderall, they no longer wanted to suck your blood. They just wanted to suck your cock.
That's true. And
That'd
that's
be
defeating them. And that
God,
too.
they should make you know how Twilight started as, 50 Shades started
50
as fan
Shades,
fiction
yeah,
of
yeah.
Twilight, but fan fiction of Twilight.
This is the question. Would you get oral from a vampire, knowing how sharp it is down there?
Or, is there an or just would I?
Would you?
That feels very dangerous to
Would
be
you?
like, the blood is rushing. That's
And
like
then once they cut
Perfect
it, they're
place-
like, oh, right, blood.
the perfect place to bite would be during a
Yeah.
blowjob.
There's a ton of blood in there.
There's not a lot. I feel like that all those old vampire movies, they don't do that enough.
No.
It
Well,
should
the
start
thing
with a
is-
blowjob.
It's really upsetting is probably why, I would guess. But, you know,
Yeah.
some of these vampire movies, they have no class, and they'll do it anyway.
I think I would not. I'd be like against it. And then they'd say like, I want to suck your dick. I'd be like, that's too much fun.
Wow. I didn't realize you were Eastern European.
All right, get down there.
Why don't you go crazy down there? You're on Adderall today.
Let me read the other answer on here.
Please.
This account is that one guy, and he says, Coke did that for me, and I had no idea why till I tried dick and realized I was gay after all, and I just always loved cock. Way hotter and more fun than pussy.
You've heard it here first, folks. Cock, more fun than pussy. Everyone agrees. You're just gay, I think, is the reason why Adderall makes you want cock, is you want it already and you can focus now.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just you have ADHD and you were getting distracted by things.
You kept looking at boobs because they were in your peripheral vision, but what you wanted was dick.
You have a one-track mind now.
Focus, please.
That's really funny.
Also, the little one, the guy who's like, I love old man penises, is making me think there's a StarCraft player named the Little One, and I wonder if they're the same guy.
This guy, that one guy, every one of his answers is about being gay and discovering he was gay.
Okay.
That's nice.
Well, it's exciting.
He's answered questions about what it's like to give a blowjob. He answered a question that's why have so many white males taken up homosexuality? And he's like, hey man, I tried it recently. It's just good fun.
Why? It rocks. Thanks for writing
He
in.
says nothing hotter than a big hard cock.
Okay.
I think this is the
I kind of
happiest
get
person.
this guy. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I've never seen someone more happy than this.
This is an account I understand, and for that, I'm happy.
As an Adderall user, you really get it.
Yeah, us ADD folks got to stick together.
I know I'm going to think about this when I try that Adderall. Because I'm going to try to sense
Clear it
like,
with your
do I
girlfriend
want to,
first.
like, let's say, we're all on a spectrum of sexuality. Let's say, like, my sucking cock is level 1 of 1,000.
Sure.
That's level 1.
That's very straight. It's probably more
Where
like
does it
level
go
8.
after that?
But I'm going to try to, like, sense, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more. I don't want to do it, but it's definitely, like, a little more.
Yep.
It's a little higher on the
I
scale.
feel it.
You know how like when you're worried you're sick and you look up symptoms of like what you might have and you start feeling the symptoms? You're now gonna feel the symptom of Adderall, which is that you love
Is
cock.
it a psychosacokic?
Yeah, just pick a day where you have a lot of emails and feel sexually curious. I think.
I keep scrolling past this man's penis.
I can't stop looking at it.
Sorry.
Okay, should we do one more?
Let's do
for the
one
road?
more question. Do you have one you'd like to do?
Okay.
And do this last one?
The last one's kind of fun. Sure.
Okay.
I
This
think the
is-
answers are going to be insane, but let's go.
This is our religious segment, Forbidden Fruit. And you might notice it's the exact same sound as the philosophy segment, but it's totally different.
The thing is, religion is a philosophy, so it's not really like
Right.
what other sound would I get? Like these are monks. What other sound would I get?
So this is sort of a twisted world. When will Sharia law be forced here in Australia? Why is it not happening yet?
It's
Is
only
this someone who's for it or against it, you think?
they can't wait for Sharia law in Australia of all places. I don't know if Australia is Australia like even like plurality Muslim or like
I don't know. What's the percent? Let's look it up.
I'm going to Australia soon, so these are all good stats.
yeah,
Could you
these are
ask
good
while
stuff to
you're
know.
there?
Sure, I'll be like, hey, does anyone know when Sharia laws coming here?
You're in a stadium. You're at the Sydney Opera House.
What is Sharia? Does Sharia law? I mean, does it entail? It's just like everything.
I
all the
really don't
rules?
know.
No, Sharia law is like a specific set of rules in the Quran, right? It's
Yeah.
like a conservative,
But conservative,
Muslim interpretation
but
of
like
law.
right-wing Americans think it means that like you have to become Muslim or something. Like it's gonna one day. It's like the apocalypse or something.
Now I am
and we're
no
all gonna be Muslim.
I am no expert on Sharia law, but I would bet one of the rules is you gotta be Muslim.
No, I understand that, but I imagine
If you came over and they're like, how there's some people like, oh, this is a shoes off household.
Right.
Just this household operates under Sharia law. I'd be like, I'll be right back. I just need to Google.
you have to like pray a certain amount of times a day.
By the way, 3.2%.
5, I think, is the number.
3.2%. That's going to be a tough push for Sharia law down there. That's going to be an uphill legislative battle.
You're going to need some real gerrymandering to make that one work out.
This is maybe a 100-year plan you should start working on. So if the question is when, it's at minimum 100 years.
I know they have like a lot of Islamophobia there. There was that senator who was like really anti-Muslim, and then like that kid hit him in the face with an egg. That's like what I know about
Crocodile
Muslim.
hunter?
It was the crocodile in Australia.
Yeah.
There was a kid who
The
hit a
stingray was
senator.
Muslim.
It really set them back a long time in Australia when that Muslim stingray killed Steve Irwin.
That's not a Quran. This is a Quran.
Can you imagine if he had survived because the stingray, it couldn't penetrate him because he had a Quran?
I would convert. I would literally convert.
But why would you have it in your front pocket? Carry this around just in
It's
case.
going to get wet, first of all.
That must go against Sharia law to get it wet.
Now, Jim Daniels, who is the only answerer I'm seeing on the top here, says, hopefully never. Aussies tried to have tend
to have far too
common sense for this crap. So it's about common sense for him.
Wow, must have been written by Steve Irwin. Sounds a little Islamophobic.
There's a lot of tension here. And I do feel like this is the kind of question you ask just to get racists all riled up, which is a lot of Quora.
But I do like that they're saying like, why hasn't it happened yet? Like, I feel like this is like a Republican or someone right wing who is like, they keep saying it's going to happen and it's not happening.
Yeah, maybe they're starting to
They're doubting.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
kinda
did
pissed.
I did think Jim Daniels was Jim Davis from This
Me
Far
too.
Away, and I was excited that the creator of Garfield was coming out
No,
against Sharia
it's
law in Australia.
Unfortunately, Jim Daniels,
That's a
former
damn shame.
manager. He lives in East Retford.
Not a manager anymore.
It sounds like it's like an 8-year-old at church would be like, well, why hasn't Jesus come back? If he's
Yeah.
going to come back, things seem bad.
Mm-hmm.
This guy
Why
doesn't
hasn't
even
it
live in
Sharia law?
Australia.
It could be really good. Could really clarify a lot of the
Sharia
questions
law
I have.
works in mysterious ways.
This guy doesn't even fucking live in Australia. Fuck you,
What
Jim
the
Daniels.
hell?
We hate you.
He's in the bloody UK.
What a loser.
Don't talk about Australia if you're in the UK, by the way.
That's for people in Australia and podcasters.
You kicked them out of there.
This guy Zane says Sharia law is being enforced in Australia.
Nice.
Oh no, he says it's being enforced is highly unlikely. I'm sorry, I misread it.
Oh, that's the opposite.
Australia
of
has
what
a
you said.
strong legal framework based on democratic principles.
Good news, it's already there. Wait, I read it wrong? It will never happen.
I feel so bad. I completely misread this guy's thing.
Not to disparage Zane.
And then this guy John Brooks says the Christians have been trying to do that for years.
I'm getting the Zach De La Roca sound again. You got
does
his
that
ass.
mean?
The Christians have been trying to do Sharia law. Think about it.
This guy's like, he's mad, but he's confused.
Yeah, good question. Why don't you look in your Bible?
The Jews want everyone to be Muslim.
All right. Is there any oh, there's something really bad down there. Don't
Yeah, I'm
read
not
that
reading
one.
that
Okay,
one.
great. Well, this was a controversial ending, but I'm glad we did it.
I like this one guy, just real quick, who says he estimates it will cost 52 million Australian dollars a year.
That's a lot of
convert
money on
everyone.
Sharia law. I'm not sure we should spend all that money.
I don't know. If you gave me $52 million, I'd operate under Sharia law.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, it's not per person. I think they mean the overhead from all the mosques.
That's
they'll be
pretty
making. I
cheap
don't
for
know.
a country, though, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean that's nothing for.
healthcare. They say like Medicare for all will cost like trillions of dollars. It's
Yeah,
like,
how
well,
much
if we
does
can-
the American military has a budget of $1 trillion a year?
If Joe Biden said, he said, "Listen, we can't afford universal health care. We got the next big thing. I bought America Sharia law.
There's a worm in my brain. It says it's Sharia law now.
We're gonna end pork. Come on, man.
Come on, it's gross.
Stop eating that.
It's haram. New character, Muslim Joe Biden. When's he coming back? When will we see him again?
If he like became totally coherent, but he was Muslim,
I'm in.
be fine with that.
I'm all in then. My only complaint about him is him not being Muslim.
yeah.
I've said that every week of this show.
Do we have any questions we want to ask Quora before we call it a day?
We had one earlier.
The question that Gianmarco was asking about was like, why aren't there more species of elephants?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Like, why aren't there like different kinds of other animals like dogs?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so type that up, get that trending as well, and slam that button. In the meantime, Gianmarco, thank you so much for coming on the Quorators podcast, America's favorite Quora-based podcast. Where can our listeners find you at home and abroad?
They can find me everywhere at Gianmarco Soresi. It's spelled with a G. And my podcast is called The Downside. The Downside with Gianmarco Soresi, available everywhere you get your podcasts, or you can watch it on YouTube. And Australia, if you're listening, I'm coming soon.
Look out, Australia. There is no downside to this visit. That's good.
We all loved that.
That was a big hit
We
in
all
the
love
room. We're going to add some applause in post just to accurately portray how it was received. If you want more of our show every Thursday on patreon.com/Quorators, we have bonus episodes. We go on Reddit. We go on TikTok. We go on LinkedIn. A lot of LinkedIn lately. And that's because the job market is so exciting. So be sure to check that out if you want more of our show. And we have a live show at Caveat Bar and Grill, August 24th.
Yeah.
We would love to see you there, my darling.
Bye.
Oh, bye-bye.